Big Ten honors were junior Alexis Markowski receiving first-team All-Big Ten honors, graduate Jazz Shelley receiving second-team accolades, and freshman Natalie Potts receiving an honorable mention. In addition to this, Potts was also named Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Nebraska softball's game scheduled for Thursday against Arkansas was canceled today due to inclement weather. The game will not be rescheduled. However, if the weather permits, Nebraska will play the other 4 games scheduled in the Razorback Rumble. On Friday, the Huskers will face Northern Iowa at 10 a.m. and St. Francis at 2:30 p.m. On Saturday, the play continues with St. Francis at 10 a.m. and South Alabama at 12:15 p.m. Finally, the Denver Broncos released quarterback Russell Wilson after 2 seasons with the team. The Broncos still own the 2-time Super Bowl athlete $85 million, which is more than the dead money owed to Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons and Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers combined. Wilson entered the free agent market, searching to play once again. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is the first hour of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, drives the ball through, defender comes, can't score it. Put back in on a tip dunk, high in the air above the cylinder, with a jam with the right hand. Jawan Gary.
Runners second and third, 2 outs. 1-2 the count. The pitch from Chambers. Cope golfs one to center and deep. Going back Delgadillo, and it's gone! 3-run home run, Emerson Cope. Make it 5-2 Nebraska.
Ryan Webb with the 3-0 pitch. Drilled into center field. Long run again for Verduzco. Onto the track. Looking up, and it is gone! Home run, Josh Caron's second home run of the night. This one a 3-run blast to right center field.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz. Knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome to a full 2 hours of Sports Nightly. No coaches shows, just Jess and I for the next 2 hours. So glad you've chosen to spend a little time with us here on a Tuesday night. Last night was a good show, but we had Ernie Ziegler in here for the first hour. Love what that team and that whole staff is doing. Will Bolt's first show last night as well. It was fun having the ball coach in here. But tonight we're going to cover a lot of different things with you, including the interim president of the University of Nebraska, Chris Kabourek, will be here later on this hour. Jess, let's start with David's top story in the ticker, and that was the all-conference honors handed out today by the Big Ten for women's basketball. Not overly surprised. I kind of was hoping maybe Jazz might make the first team, but I'm not going to quiver too much with that. I didn't like the fact that Natalie wasn't both the media and the coaches freshman of the year. That seems a little silly to me, but nice representation by Nebraska.
Yeah, really nice. I'm with you, though. I mean, especially with the 10 players, you thought there's a chance, especially with what Jazz has done, because even when she has had her off nights, teams have to account for her. When she doesn't score, she's playing great defense. But, you know, she's a little bit hindered by an injury, I think, to start the season. But Alexis Markowski, that's what I asked Courtney about it. And he was like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said if she's not, then it's a travesty. Yeah. I mean, she's a no-brainer, and certainly Natalie Potts.
She would have made it, I think, if there was only 5.
Oh, yeah. Because I think there's no doubt that she's been – and she's been the leading rebounder almost from wire to wire. And Nebraska's team has been the leading rebounding team. That's a big part of that has been her. And – then not to mention what she's done scoring. So, yeah, there's no doubt she would have been in the top 5, yeah. I think, no doubt. But Natalie Potts is a no-brainer. I mean, she was the Big Ten Freshman of the Week 8 times.
She and Logan Nisley made the all-freshman team. That was really nice, too. I wasn't sure that she would, but she did enough things, I think, in conference games that she got on everybody's radar. You're much closer to the Big 12 days than I am. Does the Big 12 do 10 teams or 5?
They do 5.
I don't know how I feel about that. I understand that a league of this size, it's hard to just cut it down to 5, but I think it does dilute it a little bit. Like I said, I think Alexis makes the 5, which would have really separated it, but I don't know.
The only thing is
You got 14 teams.
There's yes, and then when you add, I don't think it needs to go up when the new teams come in.
True.
10 would be with the additional teams that are coming in, and some of those teams that play really good basketball. I think leave it at 10 for that. But the Big 12 only had 10 teams for a while.
That's true. So 5 needed to be kind of the tops of that. So, representation. We're going to hear more from Amy Williams coming up in an hour or two. She had a press conference. Huskers will leave tomorrow for Minneapolis for the Big Ten tournament. They will play at around 2 o'clock on Thursday. They await the winner of tomorrow night's game between Purdue and Northwestern. That is that's with the 12-13 matchup. Nebraska gets the winner of that game being the 5 seed. And so Thursday afternoon will be their first action. We have not talked, you and I on the air. You talked with Ernie last night about senior day for the men on Sunday. Got it done, took care of Rutgers, win number 21 on the year. PBA was lit, on fire. The fans were fired up for it. Just a lot to like about what took place Sunday at PBA. A lot of fun.
Yeah, and it wasn't always pretty, as we heard Coach Hoiberg talking about, but that's what Rutgers does. They try to ugly it up, but you got to find a way to win those types of games. And the biggest thing that he had said repeatedly since the loss at Rutgers was that they got out tough, they got out physical, and they were not going to allow that to happen the second time around. And so, they set the tone from the start. Even when the shots weren't falling, they battled, and heard Jake on the air say this is by far the most physical game we've seen in PBA this season. So, that's it, you have to find different ways. And that's how the tournament's going to be. You have different matchups, and you see different teams. Like if you advance in a tournament, one night might be completely different than the next. And so, to be able to find those different ways to win, certainly I think will pay dividends. But yeah, Rutgers is never going to be an easy. They're not going to roll over. They fight, and so for them to find the way to win, and it was neat here in the reception for the guys, the seniors, and all of them, and for what they've done. And Jake brought this up too in the post game about CJ Wilcher and how this is the first time I'm playing for something bigger than myself. And I think you just continue to see that. And when I do these interviews after the games, it's somebody different every night that's scoring, and nobody cares. Yeah. They just want to find a way to win. And so it's really neat. These types of teams, and it's a lot of coach speak. We say this a lot about, the chemistry and, how close-knit a team is and, it's a family. But these types of teams with this kind of bond and this chemistry, they just don't come around all the time. It's not It's not every year. It's not every sport. It's just there's really something different and special about this team and how it's been built and the culture that the guys have bought into. And certainly, usually that means that good things are coming in the postseason. A lot of those teams that go on big runs, I'm not saying that that's automatically going to translate to that. They have to do it on the court. But usually those teams that make really special runs have a really special culture inside the locker room, and this team has that.
And, Fred will point back to the end of last season to where that began with Derek and Emmanuel coming in and Sam Griesel and the way they kind of trended up as the year went on. That team didn't make postseason, but they were trending up, and that carried over to this year's team. I love seeing Josiah put up his first double-double of the year in his final game at PBA. Love the fact, great story, much like Sam coming back to Lincoln to finish his college days. And then it kind of makes me sad to think that was it for Casey. That's the last time we're going to see him play basketball in PBA.
Yeah, it really is. And, everybody does. And even if you ask some of the guys who were part of this team, Jawan Gary, CJ Wilcher, a lot of those guys point back to guys like Emmanuel Bandamel and Sam Griesel and Derek Walker and the tone that was set there. But in terms of the culture of this team and the excitement surrounding it, you cannot talk about the growth of that without mentioning Keisei Tominaga, because he is so much fun to watch. He's ignited such an interest in this program, and not just here locally, but across the country. He's so much fun to watch. People love watching him with his joy and his passion. And so he's been a big part in what's been done here this season as well. When you talk about turning things around and Coach Hoiberg and riding that wave and getting to where you want to be, this group of guys, yes, that group from last year and this group from this year, absolutely instrumental in doing that.
Keisei's been the light. I mean, if you go ask a college basketball fan in New York City, I guess if you can find one there, or maybe that's a bad example, Dallas, Texas or something, and go, do you know anything about Nebraska basketball? They go, that's that Tominaga kid plays there. So he's kind of put Nebraska on the map because people love to watch him play, the joy that he brings to the game. And he's just been so much fun to cover and follow for the last 3 years. And I'm glad he had that 4-point play. That was pretty cool for his final game in PBA.
He's going to be a guy, every year there's, especially if Nebraska wins some games in the tournament, there's this darling. Casey Tominaga could no doubt be that guy that people tune in to watch, that fall in love with and want to pull for because just, again, like you said, that light and that joy that he plays with. Yeah, so much fun. So they're certainly inching closer to that double bye. Nebraska doesn't play again until Sunday at Michigan. There are other games going on during the week. Pretty much everybody else in the league has 2 games left. Nebraska just has the 1. It's going to be almost impossible for Nebraska not to be that double bye. And I flat told Coach Hoiberg, I go, you can win this tournament. He's like, rolls his eyes at me. I'm like, well, you beat Purdue, and you took Illinois, the number 2 team, on their home floor to overtime. So why can you not go to Minneapolis and win that thing in a week? So we'll watch the scores come across the next couple of nights, and Nebraska may not even have to win Sunday to get that double bye. It may already be wrapped up at the time they play the Wolverines Sunday late in the morning. That's an early start, by the way. It's an 11 a.m. tip Central Time. And here's your first, Cole, PSA of the week. It is the end of daylight savings time this Saturday night, so you're going to lose your hour of sleep, so it's going to even feel earlier to the bodies with Nebraska playing at 11 a.m. on a Saturday. We're going to hear from Jawan Gary here in a couple of minutes. I mentioned Chris Kabourek will be here. We're going to sit down with the interim president twice a month through the end of this semester, and this will be his first appearance here in March. Looking forward to that. We'll have some clips from Amy Williams' press conference coming up at the top of hour number 2. She talked about, obviously, the award winners, but also now kind of the reset. It's postseason time now. The regular season for them is behind them. They'll again be headed to Minneapolis tomorrow to play in the second day of the tournament up in Minneapolis, awaiting that winner of the Purdue-Northwestern game. And Natalie Potts, Jessica had a chance to catch up with her today. She was named the Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten Conference. So a lot of fun stuff to get to there. And we want to hear from you as well. 402-413-2400. Those are the phone lines for the text, and also the number if you want to call and offer up some opinion about Husker basketball or any Husker sports that are going on. Also, we're gonna talk tomorrow night with Mark Manning. Husker wrestling is headed off to Maryland this weekend for the Big Ten Wrestling Championships. A lot is expected. They have a chance to win the team title. They have a lot of wrestlers who should do pretty well at the Big Ten. So we'll get the full rundown from him tomorrow night. I know they're excited. Yes, absolutely. This group he's been excited about from before the season even started, probably even dating back to last year, knowing the guys that were coming back and what he had waiting in the wings. So I know he's excited to see how they perform. And with the Big Tens, as we've mentioned so many times, some of those guys from Iowa and Penn State don't wrestle. They'll opt out for the finals. So you never know. You never know what can happen. The Big Ten Now show, which is on every day at 11 a.m. Central, and then they replay it during the afternoon. They had Lenny Pinto on today. Did you catch some of that? I saw him on one of the monitors last night. Okay. Yeah, he's great. He's got such a fun personality. I didn't know what to expect when I sat down with him, about a month ago, because you see him on the wrestling mat and he's so aggressive and so fiery, but he's fun. He's got a great personality. He's a good guy and he's fun to root for. They asked him, they said, okay, if you win the championship in Maryland, it's a lot of crab cakes and all that around the Baltimore area. What's going to be your go-to meal afterward? He goes, it's pasta. He goes, I'm a pasta guy. Give me some pasta. Well, yeah, he's from New Jersey. Yeah. He's from that area. So that's not surprising. So Mark Manning coming your way tomorrow night. We'll get you all set up for Big Ten wrestling that's taking place this weekend. All right, need to step aside, get a break in. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back with Jawan Gary. We'll talk to him next.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Just go to newnordicusa.com or visit Walgreens or Amazon to purchase. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at newnordicusa.com.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
Back inside the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you on a Tuesday night. No basketball until Thursday. That'll be the Husker women playing in the Big Ten tournament. The men are off until Sunday when they wrap up the regular season in Ann Arbor against the Michigan Wolverines. The Husker men had their final home game Sunday, beating Rutgers by 11 points. Afterwards, Jessica caught up with Jawan Gary.
All right, final one inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. How bad did you guys want to close it out with a win here tonight?
We want to close out bad. Seniors, Casey, CJ, Josiah, and Juwan, those guys contribute a lot to the team, every day in practice, every day in film, away games, home games, no matter what it is. But I just want to send my guys off with a W. That's what we did. I'm kind of sad myself last game PBA this season, but it was a great year for the Husker fans. I think we 18-1 in PBA, which I think is the nation world record of home game winning. But it was a great feeling, though. Get the W, send the senior off with a great note, and you got one next week to focus on for sure.
How about getting this one over Rutgers? I mean, it was an emotional one, overtime there, but for you guys to bounce back and split with them and get this one, how bad did you want to get them back here today?
I know my last time playing Rutgers, I went down with a calf strain, so it was kind of hurtful to see my team take an L without me on the court with them. But we knew we had to bounce back. We knew they was going to come with physicality. They were probably one of the fastest transitions team in the Big Ten, so we knew we had to come prepared. But, and the day we played in the Nebraska basketball, we never folded. We kept poised when they won their run. No matter what happened during the game, we kept calm for sure and got the W.
Yeah, Coach was saying, the last time you guys faced off against them, they out-physicaled you. They were tougher. How much did you, and especially Josiah, take that on yourselves to really set the tone, especially physically?
We knew we had to go out there and be physical. The last 2 days in practice was just all physical things, box out, hit and stuff like that. But in the day, if it can't translate during practice, why doing it? So that's what we did, translate everything we do in practice on the court. Was successful today. So I'm glad Josiah was out there, grabbed a lot of old boards for us, and I contribute to that too, such as Rink and Bryce too. So I'm glad we went out there with physicality, mentality for sure.
What is when you guys are pulling down those offensive boards, what does that do for you guys?
It's energy. You can just hear the crowd. Every time we get an offensive rebound, the crowd just amped up like we just got a whole 3-ball win in, something like that. So, us getting an offensive rebound, this is another opportunity for us to score. So, the more offensive rebounds we get, the more field we're going to have. So, once we score off that offensive rebound, the defensive side is going to take care of itself. So, the offensive rebound really our field for us for sure.
Double-double for you, 15 and 11. How good did it feel for you out there today?
Just confidence. I was out there very calm. I knew it was the last game in PBA, but I couldn't overlook this game at all. I knew Rutgers was going to come in and give it their best shot, the last time playing them during the regular season. So we had to go out there, with the mentality like, okay, we got to get this W for sure. But at the same time, we got to stay poised and play Nebraska basketball. And I'm glad we went out there and contribute to this W.
You mentioned the 18-1. You guys have protected home court all season, but just throughout the season, everybody's taking note of how hard it is for other teams to come in here and win. How much pride do you guys take in that and just protecting this home court?
It's a lot of pride. You don't want nobody to come in your house and stealing everything out your house. So that's how we treat PBA. Every time somebody step on the court with us at PBA, we know they even come in here and take no L's from us. So we go in there every day in PBA just with the mindset, nobody finna come in here and give us our first L. So we go out there with a chip on our shoulder every day. We're like, okay, this is our home. We got to protect home court. We got to give our Husker fans a show, and this is what we do every day.
How about the response and just the bounce back coming off the loss at Ohio State? How big was it? All of it in, there's a lot of big things that go wrapped up into this win, but to bounce back from that loss, how important was that?
Short-term memory. We got one more game. We had 2 more games after that Ohio State loss, but we couldn't dwell on that loss. Came in the next day, watched film on Rutgers and stuff like that. The next day we practiced and everything, and we just moved on. We're gonna take a lot of L's nowadays for sure. But this matter how you bounce back, and that's what we did. Coach always told us every time we take an L, we know how to respond better the next day. So when the next day we came to practice, it was a better day, a better opportunity for us to come here and get the W. That's what we did.
You mentioned the seniors, but Keisei Tominaga, describe his ability to ignite this crowd.
Man, he like a magician out there. Like I never seen nothing like it. Like the way he shoot the ball, the way he just get himself going. Like he can shoot the ball from half court. You would think it going in every time, but I love Keisei. It was just a great year just to be around him as a person. Like he's a very genuine person. Very down-to-earth person. Love the game of basketball, as you could tell the way he reacts to every shot he made. But I love playing with that guy. Like I said, he's like a Stephen Curry out there. Every time he make a shot, he's like, man, what did he just do? So, but I'm actually gonna miss Keisei for sure. The way he just carried himself as a pro. The way he approached different things for sure. It's something that you love seeing out of him, and just love the joy in everything he played. Love basketball for sure.
Another bye week going into the last game of the season. What needs to happen for this team over this week?
Just take care of our bodies. We got a big tournament coming ahead. We're trying to get that double bye in the Big Ten. So this next week we got to take care of our bodies. Get everything done for this Michigan game. game on the road next Sunday.
All right, tell us about that Michigan matchup. You guys beat them last time. What goes into matching up with them?
Like us, we're going to come in their home court. I know they're going to give us their best shot. You know, they ain't trying to have an L in their home court either. So no matter what we do, we got to play Nebraska basketball, go with a chip out shoulder, and try and get that W on the road for sure.
Appreciate your time, Juwan. Great win.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You know, you heard Ernie Ziegler saying last night he calls himself a junkyard dog, and him and when you go back to what was established a year ago, it was Juwan, it was Emmanuel, that physicality on the defensive end, lockdown defense, and he takes a lot of pride in that. And being him and Sam Hoiberg are the defensive captains, and so he takes a lot of that, puts a lot on that himself. And when they're playing great defense, we know that they can score, but when they're locking down on the defensive end, they are as good as anybody in the country.
They are. And when they're not quite, and even Fred said at Ohio State, we were a little jumpy. We weren't quite locked in defensively, and you get beat. That's how close the margin is. But I'm happy for him. He is an electric player. That follow slam that he had Sunday was, I was jumping around big time when that happened.
You were jumping around?
I was. Jumping around. Not like Wisconsin, but jumping around a little bit. You and I have been checking out some of the bracketologies. We've kind of moved toward the 9 line a little bit more. Some of the ones still have Nebraska on the 10 seed line. I think that's laughable. I think Nebraska's played way above that, but I wouldn't mind being there. But I think if you win at Michigan and win a game or two in Minneapolis, I think you can get up maybe even to the 7 line.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you and I have talked about that. At this point, getting in, and they've shown that they can compete with anybody. I mean, they beat Purdue, they've beat Wisconsin, they
won at Indiana, so they got that road win.
At Kansas State, which, they've shown that they can compete. And so, but yes, I just hate that 8-9 seed.
I'm with you.
I mean, we've had this discussion with the women.
I know.
And it's just a terrible second round matchup. But hey, even getting to that second round matchup would be a huge, huge feat for this team.
We've never done it.
I know.
So history would have been made by then.
But I just don't think this team is
satisfied with that. Yeah, I agree.
They don't want to just get to the tournament at this point. Neither team does, but they're not about just getting there.
Yep.
Which is saying something for a team. None of these guys, I mean, some of them have been with other teams. Like Juwan was part of that Alabama team that had the special run. But, they as a group, you would think that they'd just be okay with getting to the NCAA tournament, and they are not. They want to do something that hadn't been done here, that's for sure.
Good to see him. I love his game. Hope he comes back. Juwan, come back. Please come back next year.
I know. I think Juwan comes back. I don't know anything. But I think Juwan comes back.
Think about the emotions of this month, because I think we'll know by the end of this month if those 4 guys are coming back or not.
Yeah, I think Rink will do a little bit maybe what Casey did last year, and not necessarily the NBA, but just feel the waters about what's out there on a pro level. But I think Bryce Williams will come back too, just because he's a guy that is really intriguing in terms of his skill set, and moving to the 1 and playing that point guard. He still has room that he can really grow and hone in on some of the skills that he can just be a more all-around complete basketball player with another year in the system. And so I think we see those. I am marking it down. I think those 3 come back. That's the only 3 that I will say at this point.
Now you're talking about a really good team going into next year. Maybe a top 25 team starting the year.
Need to find an elite shooter to replace that Casey role.
Because you got Ulis coming in to be your point guard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which Jamarcus can shoot it, obviously. But I think if at this point, if that's the core coming back, you just find someone that can really make things difficult from the outside. Because look how much, even when Casey's not scoring, but just his presence, how much everything opens up because he's on the floor.
Yeah. Good stuff there with Juwan. Hey, Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back to talk with interim president Chris Kabourek. We'll do that next.
A few drinks at home after work, a couple of hits at a party with some friends, over-the-counter drugs for a minor illness, a new daily prescription, and you're not quite sure how it makes you feel. It doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If it impairs you, driving becomes deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
Active Liver is one of many award-winning health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at Amazon.com or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Available as a tablet or delicious sugar-free gummy. Protect and help your liver the easy and effective way with Active Liver at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Nottle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and Row House Townhomes on Leavenworth. Nottle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Nottle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Welcome back, Sports Nightly, here on a Tuesday night, and twice a month to the end of the semester. We're going to have a chance to talk with the interim president of the University of Nebraska, Chris Kabourek. Great to have you in studio with us. March is here. You got to love this. A lot of good time basketball going on right now.
It's here, March Madness. I mean, I'm getting the fever. It sounds like Husker Nation's getting the fever. We're starting baseball, softball. I mean, what a great time to be a Husker fan.
And Lincoln buzzes this time of year with state tournaments going on. We had the girls last week. The boys start up tomorrow. It's a really good showcase for the city.
Yeah. As a high school basketball official, this is just a super fun time. Going all the way back to wrestling a few weeks ago and swimming, and now both the girls and boys basketball tournaments. It's just great to see that energy in Lincoln and to see those teams coming into Lincoln and competing for championships. And I can't wait to get down and watch a few games.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And good luck to all those teams. Understand you took a little field trip today. Tell me about it.
So Greg, people ask me, what is the best part of being this job? And it's no doubt getting time to interact with our 50,000 students at the university, but also prospective students all across Nebraska. And I'll go back to last week when we had a really nice event with our legislative dinner with our state senators. And the highlight of that event is always bringing in students to tell their stories, where they're from, what their dreams are, what their passions are, what they're pursuing here at the university. And so not only did I get some time with Dylan Raiola, but met an incredible young man that was homeless a couple years ago. And the University of Nebraska is turning around his life, where now he's pursuing a medical degree. And to hear those stories are incredible. But today was really, truly, one of the top days in my career at the university of 27 years. I had the opportunity to go up to Pender, Nebraska, and visit a young man named Caleb Kelly. And Caleb scored a perfect 36 on his ACT test. And got to meet Caleb and his parents, and he's the oldest of 7 siblings. And, with our new presidential scholarship, which is a full total cost of attendance, so the university will cover his tuition fees, room and board, books, and even pay him a $5,000 stipend to attend here. And so I felt a little bit like Coach Rule. I went out and recruited him, met his mom and dad, and say, hey, we need you at Nebraska. And I'm proud to announce Caleb is our first commit to the Presidential Scholars Program. He indicated he's going to sign with Nebraska, and his school, we just had a wonderful celebration today. So I got to give a shout out to Dr. Jason Dolliver, the superintendent up there, the entire staff of the Pender Public High Schools. What an incredible culture they are creating for young people. And if you have any doubts about public education, rural public education in the state of Nebraska, go visit Pender, Nebraska. They are doing it right, and what a great day. And we're so happy to say Caleb's our first commit to the Presidential Scholar Program.
You've talked about, you hear all the time about 5-star student athletes. You want 5-star students as well, and this would be your first 5-star you've been able to get.
Absolutely. I think, why not take a page out of this athletic playbook? And so we had a signing table. We had him up at a table. He signed up. We had local media there. We had media from Omaha there, and the gym was packed with students from kindergarten to seniors, community members. And so what a great opportunity to celebrate Caleb, but also what a great opportunity for me, a platform to go talk to kids as young as kindergartners about, you don't need to have a perfect 36 ACT to come to the University of Nebraska and pursue your dream. As long as you're willing to work hard, roll up your sleeves, and really get into it, take it day by day, and believe in yourself, University of Nebraska is an incredible place for you to pursue your passion, and we're going to give you every opportunity to be successful here.
Has he chosen which campus he's coming to?
He's going to come here to University of Nebraska-Lincoln and study in the Reg School. He's interested in computer science, physics, and business, and so we can't wait to see him this fall and meeting him and his family. These are the kind of kids we need to keep in Nebraska. Too many of our homegrown talent are going elsewhere. And so just like we want every 5-star athlete to get here, we want every 5-star academic, and for that matter, all kids really to roll up their sleeves and work hard to consider coming to University of Nebraska.
That's fantastic. Great stuff. And thank you for sharing that story with us here tonight. Chris Kabourek with us here on Sports Nightly. I understand this week is I Love NU Week for the university, which gives students, alums, and supporters a chance to celebrate how the university has impacted them. And can you tell us maybe a little bit about this? What does this entail?
Yeah, this is always a really fun week for us at the university, and one of my favorite traditions. What I've really learned about as a native Nebraskan, but really what I've learned in the last 60-plus days, getting to travel around the state, meet with not only students and parents and community leaders, but people just love this university. They're passionate about it. And it's not just the Huskers or perhaps the Mavericks in Omaha or the Lopers in Kearney. They just love the institution. And so this is a week that we use to celebrate the University of Nebraska. I use my own story. I'm an alum. I've obviously worked here for 27 years, and it's come full circle. Now, my oldest son is a freshman at the University of Nebraska, Omaha. And so I have a unique love of this place. I know how it has transformed my life. And so this is an opportunity for all of us to celebrate how the university has had some kind of impact in our lives. And so, one of the highlights is on Wednesday, tomorrow, we will go down to the state capitol, students, friends, supporters, and have an opportunity to share those stories with state senators, other supporters of the university in terms of, the impact the university has had on their lives and on the state. And so it's just a really, really fun deal. And maybe the highlight for many is we also create a new ice cream flavor every year. So head on down to the dairy store on East Campus, check out the I Love NU ice cream flavor for this year.
Is that invite only tomorrow? If anybody's listening tonight wants to come pop and be a part of that?
Hey, if you love NU, you're welcome to come down, say hi, grab your state senator, tell them, hey, I love NU and this is why, tell your story. But no, it's open to all, and we hope to see a really good crowd down there tomorrow.
Very good. Speaking of, you talked about the five-star students coming in here. I know that you recently announced a scholarship program that provides financial support to veterans. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, this is a great program that we announced last week with Governor Pillen, and it's really for veterinarians, students interested in veterinarian, particularly large animal veterinarians. And so as I travel across rural Nebraska, one of the things we all hear about is workforce shortages. And one of the really critical needs we have is for large animal veterinarians. And in Nebraska, ag is the heart and soul of a lot of what we do. A kid from David City, I understand the importance of agriculture, and the university is going to be committed to agriculture going forward. So this is a really great partnership that we're excited to launch with Governor Pillen in terms of providing, again, competing full cost of attendance scholarship for students interested in attending school to become a large animal vet. And so it's called the Elite 11. So our goal is to have 11 graduates every year that are willing to take our coursework at the university in partnership with Iowa State, which is our vet program partner. And then they're committed to come back and practice in rural Nebraska for 8 years. And so it's going to be a win-win. We're really excited. We're getting strong interest already. The program just opened up, and I got to give a shout out to Dean Tiffany Hang Moss at the College of and Natural Resources. She really was did a lot of the detail work, visionary on this, and can't thank Governor Pillen enough for his partnership on this as well.
That's fantastic. All right. Believe it or not, I think we have spring break, at least on the Lincoln campus next week. A little message from the president about get away, but be safe.
Well, it's hard to believe. We're almost midway, a little past halfway the semester, and I know our students are working really hard, and our faculty are too. And this is a really good time just to kind of collect our breath. Right. It looks like the weather's going to be pretty decent, so whatever that means to you, I hope to get out to a couple softball, baseball games. But yeah, it's really a time to refresh, get geared up for the second half, and go compete in the classroom and finish the year off really strong.
Very good. Always good to see you. Thank you for coming in and updating us on some incredible topics that are going on right now at the university.
Well, we really appreciate it, Greg. Thanks for having us.
Chris Kabourek with us here on Sports Nightly. We're back to wrap up this hour next.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate, America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's time for some Nebraska farm facts. Want to know a fast way to rev up our Nebraska economy while helping the planet? It's right in your tank. When you fill up with clean soy-based biodiesel, you're increasing Nebraska biodiesel production while reducing greenhouse gases by up to 74%. So look for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, our economy, and our farmers. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks. Foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Always fun to talk to the president, Chris Kabourek, and that was so much fun, I'm sure, for him to go out to a small community like Pender and offer up that. And I think it's a great program the university's coming up to. So neat stuff right there.
What a great, 3 days for Pender.
They win the girls' state title. I'm not sure if their boys are in it or I don't know. I'll have to check. David will have to check that for me, or Cole. See if Pender made the boys' state championship.
So I watched every game on Saturday on TV.
You were a basketball junkie.
I mean, the Britt Prince's game was unbelievable. I mean, that was a great game.
Those coaches were salty at halftime in the interviews.
And the Class A game was great too. But it's just so fun to see. I love watching high school basketball. And you talk about, which we've had this discussion too, but there's some elite girls high school athletes in this state.
Yeah.
And it's they play a good brand of basketball. They play good sports. And so it was fun to watch. And but I got to admit, I did not know what a Pendragon was. But hey, learn something new every day.
Are you going to hang with our DB this week as Caleb's playing in state tournament?
I might have to go check out.
See DB,
check it out.
Where are you playing at? John in Omaha said that scholarship segment was so uplifting. Great to hear. Great to keep the talent here in the state academically as well. Go Big Red. I totally agree. I think that's a good concept with that. Also, Art in Los Angeles said, guys, odd question. What does the winner of the Big Ten tournament get? Do they get money or a trophy? The recognition? Please elaborate. Well, they get the automatic bid to the tournament.
Yeah, but
and a trophy.
So if there's a team that's in it, that wins it, say like a Michigan wins the whole thing, they're not in the NCAA tournament field. But if they won that tournament,
they're in.
They would be in.
Yeah.
So, for some of those teams, that's why they always say, you're never out of it, because for all these conference tournaments, you still have a chance to get in if you go on a run. And sometimes we've seen that. Where they've gone on special runs and ended up punching a ticket that way. But for the, like the mid-majors and the lower-tiered conferences, they don't get in just unless they have an unbelievable resume and schedule and all of that, they only get in by winning their conference tournaments. You can go undefeated up until and then get knocked out of your tournament, and so that's huge upset. But for the Big Ten, yeah, it's maybe you can improve your seeding a little bit.
Nebraska would.
But it's not guaranteed. It's not like a guarantee for winning. But for Nebraska, if they go on a run and win 3 games that over some good opponents, that maybe they can improve a little bit. But yeah, it's a trophy. It's the celebration. It's being Big Ten champs. Everybody, we love those around here. We love Big Ten champs.
It hangs a banner.
Yeah.
Banners fly
you
forever.
Get rings.
You usually get rings. So yeah, you want to try to win those things. We were kicking this question around the other day as it related to the men. Would you rather win that tournament next week or get an NCAA tournament win?
I'd rather get an NCAA tournament win.
Because it's never happened.
Yeah.
If you've had one NCAA tournament games before, I think you'd want the title, I think. But
I don't know. I think, I know that it's special, but I just think for basketball and the basketball world, it's just, man, there's nothing like the NCAA tournament and going on a run in the NCAA tournament. So I don't know. It'd be hard for me to pick.
Banners fly forever. That's what I said. I mean, you win a Big Ten tournament, either regular season or the tournament, it's going to be up in PBA forever and ever and ever. People go, 2024, that was special.
I think, though, for players, they'd probably pick winning in the NCAA tournament because there's nothing like going to that first round site, winning, getting to stay. I mean, it is just it's the neatest experience, and it's the ultimate, it's what you play for. And so, I don't know, I think probably if you ask players, they'd prefer to win in the NCAA tournament, but it's also—
That's a great question.
It's also, too, for some of these teams, it's a lot of times why you see in baseball and even basketball to some extent, teams not making a run, because the ones that are guaranteed to have pretty high seeds and have hopes of going on a pretty deep run, it's hard to go on a run in the conference tournament and then turn right around and do it. It's a lot of basketball and a lot of
It depends, because that's been a theory of mine when I filled out brackets, and that has burned me in the past. So I'm like, they just went so long in their tournament, and then they go on and make the Elite Eight or something.
I mean, you see it both ways, Sometimes it can be
You get to cut the nets down if you win that tournament. I mean, cutting nets down is a pretty special feeling. So
yeah,
that's a great question. And we were all kicking around the other day up there. So we're going to talk more basketball next hour. Amy Williams had a press conference today. We're going to hear from her. We're going to hear from Natalie Potts, named today the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Those honors all came out today. You had her and Logan Nisley made the all-freshman team. Jazz Shelley, second team all-conference. Alexa Markowski, first team all-conference. So Nebraska really well represented on those conference teams, and they should have been. They had a year where they should have had multiple people that are being highlighted in that. So we'll have all that for you coming up in hour number 2. Woodhouse Auto Family is your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We also have not gotten Jessica's thoughts on some of the new things coming to college football next fall. Tablets on the sideline, a 2-minute warning, and a helmet communication with a player. We'll get her thoughts on that in hour 2. Come on back.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Good evening. I'm David Swotek, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. Earlier this afternoon, Nebraska women's basketball head coach Amy Williams was asked during a press conference how she feels about multiple Huskers receiving Big Ten honors.
I'm just excited for them and our team, and proud, and I know that well-earned honors and awards for our girls, and I think the entirety of our roster feels a sense of pride, because they know that it's the work of our whole entire team that goes into those type of accolades, and so just incredibly proud.
Coming up later in the show, we will hear more from head coach Amy Williams. Among the women's basketball team who received those Big Ten honors were junior Alexis Markowski receiving first-team All-Big Ten honors, graduate Jazz Shelley receiving second-team accolades, and freshman Natalie Potts receiving an honorable mention. In addition to this, Potts was also named Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Nebraska softball's game scheduled for Thursday against Arkansas was canceled today due to inclement weather. The game will not be rescheduled. However, if the weather permits, Nebraska will play the other 4 games scheduled in the Razorback Rumble. On Friday, the Huskers will face Northern Iowa at 10 a.m. and St. Francis at 2:30 p.m. And on Saturday, the play continues with St. Francis at 10 a.m. and South Alabama at 12:15 p.m. Finally, the Denver Broncos released quarterback Russell Wilson after 2 seasons with the team. The Broncos still owe the 2-time Super Bowl athlete $85 million, which is more than the dead money owed to Matt Ryan from the Atlanta Falcons and Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers combined. Wilson entered the free agent market searching to play once again. Our sports ticker is sponsored by the 1890 Initiative. Do you want to support Husker student athletes through name, image, and likeness? If so, visit 1890nebraska.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Bryce Williams puts his head down, drives the ball, third defender comes, can't score it. Put back in on a tip dunk, high in the air above the cylinder, with a jam with the right hand. Jawan Gary.
Runners second and third, 2 outs, 1-2 the count. The pitch from Chambers. Cope golfs one to center and deep. Going back Delgadillo, and it's gone! 3-run home run, Emerson Cope. Make it 5-2 Nebraska.
Ryan Webb with the 3-0 pitch. Drilled into center field. Long run again for Verduzco. Onto the track. Looking up, and it is gone! Home run, Josh Caron's second home run of the night. This one a 3-run blast to right center field.
Shelley throws down low. Markowski kicks it out to Jazz. Knocked away by Marshall. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot. Shelley for 3. You betcha! Huskers take their first lead of the game with 30 seconds left.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And we're back, hour number 2 of our Tuesday night show. So glad you've chosen to spend a few minutes with us tonight. We are honored and privileged and hope we can entertain you for the next 60 minutes. We're going to be hearing from Amy Williams and the Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten, Natalie Potts. All that coming up this hour. We also want to hear from you throughout the hour. Phone lines, text lines always open at 402-413-2400. We had Chris Kabourek, the interim Nebraska president, on last hour, and he said he spent the day up in Pender handing out his first 5-star scholarship to a young man who had a perfect ACT score. David and I were reminiscing during the break. Pender got hit really hard with that tornado. That was 7-8 years ago, I believe, and really decimated that town. And to hear that they've come back, that's just a great story and awesome. He had a great time up in Pender earlier today. All right, Illinois beating Purdue at the half right now on the men's side. Well, actually, now Purdue has fought back. They're 2 minutes into the second half, 42-all. It was a 6-point lead at the half. The Illini were up. That is it is in Champaign at the State Farm Center in Champaign. We'll keep you posted on that as they're coming down the stretch. That's the only men's game tonight. The women, no action. Their tournament starts tomorrow with the play-in day. The 11, 12, 13, and 14 seeds will play tomorrow night at the Target Center up in Minneapolis. Amy Williams met with the media earlier today and just kind of started off with an opening statement about here we are to a different phase, different era of the season.
Here we are, postseason. Just really excited to be here and 0-0 and just trying to make a run and hopefully learning from the highs and lows of this incredible season that we've had so far, and just be able to put it all together to go make a run in the tournament.
Now's the time you want to be playing your best basketball, and I think prior to the last however many minutes, they were, even that Illinois game, they played really well up until the point where they just couldn't buy a bucket. But they started to put things together, and we're going to talk to Natalie Potts about that here in just a few minutes. But when things are clicking for them too, they're also a very dangerous team.
You want to be playing well, want to be playing well, and you want to be confident, because you got to have some confidence to make a play late in games in postseason, because that's what the pressure ratchets up. Can you handle the pressure? Sometimes free throws become harder to make. Sometimes, just the simple plays you don't make because of the pressure of postseason. So you hope you've prepared yourself well, and I think they probably have for that. All right, Alexis Markowski named today first team all-conference. Here's the coach talking about the improvement she has seen from Alexis in her Husker career.
I've said this a couple times when people ask me about that, is that I really feel like the biggest jump has come just in her mental approach and the self-talk and the way that she talks to herself and refocuses throughout the game, and her ability to kind of positively respond when things don't go perfect on the court, and then that leading to the next best thing coming for her. So I think that's been, without a doubt, the biggest improvement I've seen out of Lex. I think there's been some things that you can point to with, her conditioning has gotten better, her footwork has gotten better, her ability to finish over right and left shoulder. There's some things tangibly that we can really point to on the basketball court, but I think without question in my mind, it's the way she's talking to herself and responding throughout the course of a game.
It's not just that, it's also her leadership, what she's done in huddles. I actually sat down with Allison Widener today. She's going to be on the Husker Women's Wednesday podcast, but she had talked about how she's really become a really big voice, a really big leader, and boy, she's a competitor. She wants to win, and so her taking on that role as well and trying to help lead a team, and in addition to what she does is really big. But I mean, it's undeniable. We've talked about her a lot. I don't think she gets enough credit across the country, and she is no doubt one of the most dominant players in this conference and certainly in women's basketball. She's really good going off either shoulder, dropping left or right, and mostly your predominant strong side, which would be your right. But she's even got the ability now to use the left hand and go up and score. That makes her doubly difficult to guard down low. And if you match up with her one-on-one, you can't. You can't. You have to double team, and so that's where this team is really dangerous when they're hitting from three, because somebody's defender is helping off to help try to stop Markowski, and so that's why there's a lot of open looks. And so when they're going down, it's really tough to beat the team, and that's what alleviates the pressure that when teams try to take her out of it. But I liked what Amy said too about, how many times have we seen her and Natalie Potts both after maybe don't want to say being shut down, but maybe being slowed down in a first half and then coming back in the second half and responding from that, and then totally just like dominating or taking over games. That's big too, because a lot of times with players you can say, oh, this isn't my night, it's not going my way. But for Alexis to be able to do that and find a way to come back out after not having the best half, but find other ways and get it going in the second half, it certainly has been big. With Caitlin Clark done after this year, with Holmes at Indiana done after this year, she might be the preseason player of the year in the league. And a lot of the Ohio State players are gone. Yeah. Because Jay Sheldon, I think, is a senior too for Ohio State. JC Sheldon, yeah. So I think she's a fifth year. So Alexis could be the preseason player of the year next year, legitimately. I don't know who else you'd pick. Yeah. Unless somebody transfers in. And that could happen. Yeah, that could happen. All right, Natalie Potts gets the coach's nod as the freshman of the year. The coach was asked about Potts' freshman year in this league and the ability to grow as a basketball player while at Nebraska.
the biggest place that I see it is just her comfort level with her teammates. And, when she first stepped foot on campus, kind of a little quiet by nature, even though she's always had that sense of humor. And those of us that got to know her in the recruiting process kind of could see and knew that. But I think early, just kind of being a little quiet and now just watching how comfortable she is with her roommates, with her teammates, and the way that, they can tease her and rib her, and she can do the same. And that comfort level has allowed her, I feel like, to really just flourish and kind of maintain the confidence that she needs to step out on the court. And she knows that her teammates trust her and believe in her.
I think that 1-2 punch with her and Alexis, I think that helps Alexis to have somebody like Natalie. And I think certainly Natalie has been able to do a lot of the big things that she's done because of the pressure that a lot of the focus that Alexis Markowski gets. But, I've asked doing the coaches shows this year, I've talked to Amy Williams about this a lot throughout the course, because it seems like every other week we were talking about Natalie Potts getting the Big Ten Freshman of the Week award. And she also said her ability to deliver in the biggest moments. Like, think about some of the comeback wins or the big wins, and you can almost, in all of those, point to a big play that Natalie Potts made, a lot of game-changing plays. Mm-hmm. So it's not even just the stats that she's racked up, it's also when her contributions, when she's making those contributions, are sometimes in the biggest moments in some of those big wins. So, for a freshman to be able to recognize that and embrace that kind of moment when a team does need her to be able to do that, for her to be able to deliver time and time again, I think that's been really remarkable to watch too.
I thought Petrie also got better as the year went along,
absolutely.
too. And the three of them all coming back next year, man, that's a pretty dynamite inside game.
Well, and Alexis Markowski and those three freshmen, and then you throw in, bringing in Britt Prince.
Yeah. Now, you're going to miss Jazz, there's no doubt.
Absolutely, yeah. But
that inside game will be good.
It's got some absolutely young talent to be excited about with this team.
No question. All right. Off to the Big Ten tournament, coming off that Illinois game. And the question for Amy Williams here was, you got to get off to a better start than you did at Illinois. And she agrees with that, but she takes it to another level. Here, take a listen.
We got to get off to a fast start, but we got to finish too. I mean, at this time of year, it takes 40-minute complete ball games. And so we didn't get off to a great start, but we were able to claw back and had that game well in hand with about 3 minutes to go, and did not finish the game either. So we learned that, this time of year, it doesn't matter who you're going up against. It doesn't matter, what the circumstances are. If you're playing against man, if you're playing against zone, if you're trying to, guard one way or the other, you have to put together complete ball games. You've got to get off to a great start. You've got to, go through stretches and finish ball games. And that's the only way to survive and advance at this point. So hopefully we've learned our lesson.
They played really well. I thought up until they couldn't hit they couldn't get things going offensively. That last stretch of the game, they played a really, really good game. So we've seen them put together some really good games, some really good performances, but now's the time to actually put it all together, right? Not just the stretches, but put everything together. Now's the time to do it.
I talked about pressure gets ratcheted up this time of year. I think if that game 3 weeks ago, I bet Calvin Hake steps up and makes those free throws late. Pressure, last game, trying to get the double bye. You get a little weak in the knees and you don't quite follow through with your shot, and she wasn't able to make one or two of those free throws late. That's what happens in March.
Here's something that's interesting. So looking at the women's projection, looks like Michigan State's a 7. So there's a chance that they match up with Michigan State.
Absolutely. I think that's a given Friday.
Yeah. I was trying to not be...
Come on. We're playing Sparty Friday.
But what if Sparty... Well, no, Sparty's got the double bye. Never mind.
Yeah.
So... But given that, maybe, and you're playing a head-to-head.
You may be playing for a seed.
Yeah.
You could be playing for a seed line.
Because how do you give if you beat someone head-to-head twice?
Right. How do you put them ahead of you?
How do they get a higher seed?
It's a great point.
So if that's the case, if Michigan State's legitimately on the 7 line, that's a big opportunity for Nebraska.
Sure is. That's a huge game. And to me, that's a 50-50. I think that's a coin flip game. I think those two teams are really, really evenly matched. All right, last clip from the coach kind of a reset now for the team. Kind of reset your mind a little bit. A few days off here to kind of think about what you want to get done. Here's the coach talking about the reset going into postseason play.
Yeah, life is about setting goals and shooting for those goals. And sometimes you come up short, but that doesn't mean that you stop. That doesn't mean that you don't learn from those things and still find ways to overcome. And so that's where our focus is right now. That's kind of the message we had. Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to secure that double bye, but we feel like, we are still well poised to go make a run and to accomplish several other goals that we have set out for us on this season. And that's what life is about, is really constantly striving for the next best thing and continuing to put your best foot forward. And sometimes you're going to accomplish those goals and sometimes you're going to come short. But how do you respond when that happens? And that's been a big message for us all season. And I will fully expect that our kids will respond by coming back in and competing.
Also, always great to have the double bye, but that doesn't hurt to add a couple more wins either.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You're talking about Sparty being on the 7 line. It's based on that net. I'm looking at the net, which they need to change the net.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yes, I do.
Michigan State right now in the net is 21. Nebraska is 29. That's the discrepancy right now. Even though Nebraska's won the head-to-head, they finished with the same conference record. Just Sparty got their Sparty finished one game ahead, but the net needs to be tweaked going into next year. I hope they do it.
I just, it's not solely based on the net, and that's where that eye test, all those other conversations. And so if Nebraska beats Michigan State twice, then I just don't know how you can seed Michigan State. I agree. And look, it's not easy. It's just like, oh, you beat them, you move up into that. There's a lot of things that have to happen. But if currently right now you're talking about Michigan State being a higher seed, and then you beat them not only in December, but then you beat them now. I just don't know how that cannot factor into that being an impressive win for Nebraska.
Totally agree. All right, folks, what do you think? 402-413-2400, the number if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text. And by the way, it wasn't Pender that had the bad tornado, it was Pilger. And Irv and Scotter told me that. So, Irv, you're right. You're dead right. I was thinking... My memory's not as good about that. That was 7-8 years ago when that storm went through. All right, Woodhouse Auto Family. They are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back to hear from the freshman of the year in the Big Ten Conference, Natalie Potts. We'll do that coming up next.
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing, or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Nottle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside-Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Nottle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Nottle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Get ready to rule the field and revolutionize your farming game with Valley, the game changer in irrigation and ag tech solutions. With time and labor-saving measures, ground truthing results, and effective input reduction, Valley provides the perfect game plan so you stay ahead of what's in the field. From the best in irrigation and cutting-edge ag tech solutions to personalized support, Valley is your winning team. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
As a fan, you wear your jersey on your back and your heart on your sleeve. There's a place for people like you. The Cox Fan Zone. Play NFL Pick'em and Collegiate Pick'em for a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card each week, or even a $500 Visa gift card grand prize.
Hey, Husker fans, this is Greg Sharpe. Say Fan Zone in your Contour voice remote to play. Not at home? Visit cox.com/fanzone. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
For farmers, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. And at Valley, we feel the same, delivering game-changing technology and irrigation solutions that advance agricultural productivity, with the results to prove it. From our leading irrigation technology to expert advice, you can always rely on Valley to bring out the best in your farm. At Valley, productivity isn't an option, it's everything. Visit your local Valley dealer or valleyirrigation.com today.
That's the best way I could describe how it felt for me when I would walk out of either the casino or the Keno parlor, is that you just felt that wave of heat, that wave of oppression kind of hit you, that wave of dread.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
Right away, you would always know that that drive home would be the worst moments of why. Why did I do this again? Why can't I stop this?
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Nottle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Nottle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Nottle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
There's no community like a Cenex community. And that's why every Cenex store is so proud to serve theirs by supporting local athletic teams, promoting the arts, and making sure each store is a place its neighbors can find what they need, catch up with their friends, and stay connected. It's also why we give back, helping to make the wonderful places we call home the best they can be. Your local Cenex doesn't just work in your town, it lives there. The store next door, powered locally at Cenex.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. It is a Tuesday night here on Sports Nightly. Earlier today, the awards were handed out for Big Ten women's basketball, and Natalie Potts was named by the coaches as the Big Ten's Freshman of the Year. Jessica had a chance to catch up with Natalie.
All right. Well, congratulations, Big Ten Freshman of the Year. How did that feel when you heard that news?
Felt pretty good. We worked real hard this season, and it's kind of just an awesome reward.
You were Big Ten Freshman of the Week, it seemed like every other week, but what went into this entire season for you that you were able to make such an impact really from the start?
I just like to play my game like I normally do. I don't let anything else get to me, and I just play the game in the moment.
For you to be recognized in that way, for this conference, how special was that for you?
Really special. Didn't really think about anything like that coming in. I just wanted to play my game and just let it take me where it took me.
Talked to Coach Williams about you a couple weeks ago, and she was saying a lot of times it just seems like you make the big plays in the biggest moments. Take me through that when you realize that the team maybe needs a big moment, and whether it be a big board or a bucket, that you step up and deliver in those moments.
I like to win, so I feel like and we feed off of energy. So getting like a big play, big rebound, big shot, I think that really helps us go far.
What made you ready from the start as a freshman to be able to step in and contribute to this team and make an impact in this conference?
Like I said, I just have a high love for the sport, and this team just means so much to me, and being able to just be a key piece really means a lot.
How much does having someone like Alexis Markowski inside help your game and really everybody else, but your game specifically, how much has that helped you?
She's been a great role model. I've looked up to her since I got here in June, and I just kind of learned from her. I can go to her, lean on her for anything that I need.
Her game, what she does, how does that open things up for everybody else?
She's just so big down there. I mean, you could throw her like an impossible pass and she'll still go get it. So a lot of kudos to her for battling down there.
We're sitting here, Logan Nisley's down here too, but this freshman trio, how fun has it been for you guys to be able to come in and play such a big part on this team that's headed to the Big Ten tournament and hopefully, I'm going to make some noise here in the postseason?
Love playing with Lo and Jess. Lo has definitely stepped up here in the last few weeks, and I think that she's been rewarded with the starting spot, and she's just hit big shots when we need it.
Okay, going back to the Iowa loss, what did you guys take away from that one that you're applying to moving forward here into this Big Ten tournament week?
We're just going to make sure we jump early and don't let the first quarter define the rest of the game.
What are some of the things that you guys started to put together, during that stretch where you started winning the games and playing some of your best basketball? What started working and clicking for this team?
We were playing team basketball then, and I thought that we were doing what we need to be doing.
What goes into this week? With a tournament, you don't know who you're going to play. So how do you guys get ready and prepared for whoever you might face on the court on any given day?
We just have to focus and lock in at practice and work on getting better at what we need to.
How excited are you for your first postseason in this college experience?
I'm so excited. It's kind of been a dream, so I'm excited to make a run.
What are you looking to do, provide, and kind of, again, what kind of impact are you hoping to make here in the postseason?
Just keep doing what I've been doing.
All right. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You heard Coach Williams talking earlier how she's a little bit quiet.
Yeah.
She definitely is, but boy, you want to talk about a competitor and has that killer instinct. She's won her entire life, and that's what they've said about her since they were recruiting her. She's a winner. And you just heard her say it, I think, 3 times. I love to win. I want to win. And I think the last time I talked to her, it was coming off a loss. She's like, I just really hate to lose. It just really irks me to lose. And so when you have someone like that, boy, it certainly elevates a team. But she has had an unbelievable freshman season. You want to talk about a bright, bright future.
It's a really good freshman class with Logan and her. And then I mentioned Petrie came on as the year went on. So I think it's maybe a little underrated, kind of under the radar group.
Yeah.
Because Alexis and Jazz get so much oxygen.
Absolutely. But, I thought you could argue maybe that Jess Petrie was the most improved player of the season.
I'm with you.
From the start of the season to the end of the season.
I'm with you.
She's got incredible footwork. And so tremendous upside. So I think she's going to be really, really good. She's got a nice shot. And then, they've got a really great freshman class coming in with Britt Prince Kennedy, and then the player they have from the Iowa. She even talk about a scorer. It's unbelievable the number she's put up. So they got some good recruits coming in, and probably like every year they'll hit the transfer portal and maybe add a piece there. But certainly some bright young talent. Natalie Potts highlights that bright young talent.
We have a request from the chat room. They want us to talk about the fur coat, the mink that was worn by Josiah.
It was hilarious. I asked Ernie about it last night, but he walks out of the locker room and he's got his long flowing hair and then he's got this long fur coat on and he gets a cheer from everybody in the tunnel. And he's got some style. And I remember when I sat down with him right when he first got here and he talked about, he's got a process for his hair. And so he's got his own way about him and how he's doing things. But hey, kudos to him for rocking it on senior night. And he had a big night on the court.
He did.
Hey, you go to your post-game interview with that fur coat.
He made a statement with that, didn't he?
He and I don't know if you listened to the full interview with him and Becca, but they're just such fun people. Fun, unique, but just intriguing. I just keep going back to unique, but they are energy people, and they just, they a little bit march to the beat of their own drum, but it's something that you want to watch and you want to follow and you want to root for, and so they know how to light up a room and get the attention of a room. That's for sure.
Well, Fred Hoiberg has been effusive in his praise of how much he brings that energy to practices and that he sets the tone for the guys. We're going to play this hard every day.
Absolutely. And you were hearing that from first
Back
time
in
that he
June.
stepped on the court.
Yeah.
And I asked him about that one time, and he said, I wasn't always the best athlete. I wasn't always a scorer. He wasn't even getting recruited. He was on the JV team.
Yeah.
And he's like, the things that I knew I always could do to be on the court, I just really took pride in that. And I was always going to do that because I wasn't as good at some of the other areas. And so that's always been a part of his game. That's how he's gotten on the court. And now it's what he does, and he does as well as anybody arguably in the country at the role that he plays. I don't know if you can find many people that play as good of that kind of role as him. He's as good as anybody in that role, and certainly knows that that's his job that he needs to do for this team, and it absolutely has. And think about when Coach Hoiberg challenged him about, I think he had 4 rebounds, and it was that's not enough.
I'm not sure he had any.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
He
didn't have any.
Northwestern or something? He had 0.
Yeah, and then he kind of took that to heart. And the next game, I think he had like 12 or 13. So that's his role. That's what he does. And he crashes and he reads them well. To be a good offensive rebounder, it's more than just effort too. So there's a lot that goes into it. And him and Juwan are quite the 1-2 rebounding punch.
They are. Yeah, they really are. All right, there you go, chat room. You wanted us to talk about it. We threw that out there for you. Hey, What Else Auto Family? They are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're going to talk about some of the new things coming to college football. We'll do that next.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.
Did I forget something?
No, just wanted to tell you I love you. Oh, don't forget to buckle up. Drive safe.
I will. Love you too.
Someone is counting on you to buckle up. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I just remember leaving that day feeling absolutely exhausted. I was sick and tired of living that double life.
Mike is a former problem gambler.
The anxiety, the depression is real. You start thinking about the money, where that could have went to. It's never enough. I could win $10 million today, and I'd go back and try to win 20 tomorrow.
Help for problem gambling is free for Nebraskans and their families at lifeafterbet.com.
Farming today is a combination of hard work, innovation, and partnerships to help keep us moving forward. Sapp Brothers Petroleum has provided us with fuel, propane, and lubricants on the farm for many years.
For over 52 years, Sapp Brothers has been a reliable partner to thousands of farmers across our great state. We work hard to make sure our customers have the most reliable supply, provided in the safest manner and at the most competitive price. Trust Sapp Brothers Petroleum to protect your equipment and keep your farm fueled. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics and to serve Nebraska farmers and Husker fans across America's heartland.
Noddle Companies is proud to support Husker Athletics. As a leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Sunnyside Exarban, and row house townhomes on Leavenworth. Noddle Companies is adding Omaha's first hybrid timber building to the skyline. Soon to follow is Builders Green Park, surrounded by mouth-watering food, exciting retail, and a hub of thriving businesses. Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Go Huskers!
Maybe your hometown celebrates long-standing Swiss traditions. Cow chip throwing. Or even classic car muscle. Everyone has a hometown, and every hometown has a festival. Cenex wants to hear about yours. That's why we're launching the Hometown Throwdown. Tell us about your fest, and it could win $100,000. Learn more at CenexHometownThrowdown.com. Cenex, powered locally.
Are you ready? It's Ford Truck Month, and we're celebrating 47 years as the best-selling trucks in America with special once-a-year offers on Ford F-Series, including the new 2024 Ford F-150 and Ford Super Duty, the North American Truck of the Year. It's time to celebrate America. This is Ford Truck Month. Get 1.9% financing for 72 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on F-150 plus a 5-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, I got in a crash. I'm okay. I was wearing my seatbelt.
People count on you to buckle up. Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Back inside the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you here on a Tuesday night. Friday, and Jess was off Friday, I talked about some of the rules that came through the Rules Committee for college football. Now it will go to the full floor to vote in April to be implemented next season for college football. One of them is communication with one player on each side of the ball. So you'd have a speaker in the helmet of the quarterback and then somebody on defense. You get to pick who it is. And the coach can relay a play in until 15 seconds left on the play clock. Then the communication gets cut off. This might do away with all those goofy signs that everybody holds up on the sidelines. I love it.
And then the signs that take away from the other signs.
Correct.
There's the fake signs and the real signs. But yeah, and how long has the NFL had this?
Years. At least 5-6 years.
It just, again, finally the college game getting with the times, right? I mean, and I feel like we say this a lot with some of the things that have been done by the NCAA. They've dragged their feet. They've not done things to evolve, to keep up. And, you know, it's something that's been done at the NFL, and I don't know why it hadn't been done sooner. But, you know, with technology, that's what everything is nowadays.
If it's available, use it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you couldn't have iPads and all that in the booth, and I don't know. It's about
That's
time.
the other change.
Yeah.
The iPads in the booth. The coaches can have them in their booth. They can have them on the sideline to show players, and they can use them in the locker room at halftime. Again, why not?
Well, yeah. I don't understand like why that wasn't, and it's crazy because all the things that unfolded with Michigan, but here we are.
We get rid of all that.
Yeah. So, you know, just to be able to have your play call sheet that's typically on within a system anyways, everything, those iPads, I got a chance to look at one of them one time. It's unbelievable, everything that's on those iPads, but just the way that they can access certain things, maybe go back, reference something, but it's mind-blowing that they weren't allowed in the booth anyways in the first place to be able to keep track of all
Coach
that.
Rural at a press conference last fall, and it was, I think, toward the end of the year, he got asked about this, and he said, you know, you go to a high school game, and some of this technology is being used there. You go to the NFL, it's obviously being used. And he goes, then I come to college, no, we're not going to use any of that. He goes, has not made any sense why they've dragged their feet to do that.
Yeah. Well, and then just to be able to maybe go back and look at a play and see why it didn't work, what did work, and that's both sides of the ball. Maybe a defense, hey, they scored a big touchdown. Okay,
right.
What didn't work here? What do we need to do? Same thing on offense. Okay, we called this play back in the first quarter, but why didn't it work? And then they can go back and maybe see what went wrong. But yeah, it's mind-blowing that wasn't allowed in the first place.
Yeah, it's just been slow to come to that. And then the 2-minute warning at the end of the first half, end of the game, will now be implemented. These TV timeouts, sometimes they get bunched together early in the quarter because they want to make sure they get them all in. Well, if they know they've got that guaranteed timeout in the second and fourth quarter, it might smooth the game out a little bit. One of my pet peeves, Jessica, is somebody scores a touchdown, you have the long 2.5-minute timeout, whatever. Then you kick the ball off, usually it's a touchback, you have another 2.5-minute timeout. So you've gone about 6-7 minutes of actual time, and you haven't had a snap of the football. I hate that. Maybe we can get rid of that now.
Yeah. It does. It seems to drag out. I cannot wait, though, going back to the communication in the helmet, to talk to the guys, whoever is going to wear it, after the first time that they've done it. And I know that they'll get practice doing it in practice, but after a game, how that changes, what's different about it. Obviously, it's always going to be the quarterback, but how they go about, yes, probably the middle linebacker, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Isaac Gifford that had the helmet.
Could. You're right. It'll be somebody who's more of a captain type.
Yeah. So how they go about deciding who's going to wear it. I mean, there's no doubt it would have been Luke Reimer last year, but
you're right.
If it's not Luke, who else would it be? Nick Hendricks was hurt a lot, so
that'll be a little nugget for you to find out on the sidelines.
Oh yeah, and
who's got the green dot on the back of their helmet?
Can it change in the middle of the game?
It can change.
So you just
because if somebody gets hurt, you got to be able to change it.
Right.
But it's a green dot that goes on the back of the helmet that signifies that's who the guy is that's hearing the calls.
Wow, it's going to be fun to track.
We had Will Bolt on last night. We talked about because baseball's gone to a lot of this. The catchers wear what do they call it? Bluetooth, and then the coach can talk into a speaker and he can hear the call, and then they now have these wristbands that are almost like an Apple Watch where the pitch will come up on the wristband. So you'll see the pitchers looking at their wrist and they know they're throwing a slider or a curveball. So they've gone to that in baseball. Why is college football taking forever to get to this? I don't know.
It's not like certain teams are getting an advantage because everybody's doing it. It's not like by allowing this you're hindering the game or allowing certain teams to have more of an advantage because everybody gets. So I just don't understand why it was delayed for so long. But it can only help improve the game, improve just the overall communication. And think about like with some of those dugouts are so far away, and in the pros, a lot of times it's the catcher calling the pitches. But if you're playing in a pro dugout in college and it's somebody else calling the pitches, I mean, that's a long ways away to deliver that pitch.
It's worked really well. College baseball has worked really well with that. And now the wristband sometimes will go out and you see guys waving their wristband. They go get a new one, but they have 10 or 20 of them in the dugout waiting to go back out. Technology is a great thing if you use it in the right way, and I think that's a good way to do it. The NFL's talking about going to kind of a laser system for the first downs, where they can detect with a laser whether the guy gets past the line of scrimmage or not. It'll probably take college 20 years to get it to come here, but why not? If you have that ability to do it, get it right.
Because how many times has that happened where it is and it's a critical spot?
All the time. Yeah. Damon and I are on that all the time about how bad the spotting is in college football. Terrible. Purdue, Illinois, tied at 64, about to go the under 4 timeout in Champaign. That's a pretty big matchup there. You asked about games to watch for the Huskers, and Northwestern plays at Michigan State tomorrow night. That's a big one for Nebraska fans to keep an eye on as far as seeding for the Big Red, whether they're going to be Nebraska can be anywhere from the 3 to the 5 seed with what's happening still for the rest of the week. So that Northwestern-Michigan State game tomorrow night will go a long ways in that. But right now in Champaign, good one going on. They're tied 64 all with 4:14 left in that game. Woodhouse Auto Family, they are your trusted auto partner. 20 brands, 20 convenient sales and service locations. We're making car buying on your terms. Visit us online at woodhouse.com. We're back to wrap up tonight's show next.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Other irrigation companies are finally discovering what T&L Irrigation is known for decades. Continuous movement is the best way to irrigate. While they'll have you pay for complicated upgrades to get steady, even water application with their high-voltage electric systems, all T&L Irrigation pivots and linears are propelled safely and smoothly by powerful hydrostatic drive. Continuous movement isn't new, it's the T&L standard. Don't get talked into a reinvented wheel. Pick the proven original. Call your T&L Irrigation dealer today or visit TLIRR.com. T&L, like no other.
Woodhouse has got you covered for your next car, truck, or SUV. We are committed to making the car buying and owning experience better, thanks to our knowledgeable sales staff and factory certified technicians. You can discover our large inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles anytime at woodhouse.com, where we have made buying a car easier than ever. Whether you need a family hauling SUV, a car to take you around town, or a hard-working truck, Woodhouse has something for everyone.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. About final few 7 minutes left of the program here tonight. Caitlin Clark set the college basketball record for points on Sunday with a technical foul shot. How about that? Kind of anticlimactic, but you knew it was going to happen. I wish it had been like a one of her traditional
how she broke the women's record
or three-point shot or
on
something.
The logo. Yeah. It would have
great accomplishment for her though.
But it also kind of all eyes on you to be able to do it. Did you see Dawn Staley in her presser? That was the first thing she asked. Did Caitlin get it? Did she get it? And then one of the reporters, she had 21 points in the first quarter, and Dawn was like, oh, so leaving no drama about it. So she had no drama leading into it. But it's an incredible feat.
Like her or not, she's been great for the sport, great attention for it. It's, I think, a big reason why the tournament this week in Minneapolis is sold out. She's not the only reason, but she's a big reason for that. She's just electrified the country, and she's the biggest name in the sport, men or women. She's the biggest name right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad she's leaving.
Yes. I said
that sounds
bye.
terrible.
No, look, I can appreciate what she's done for the game, but I'm glad we don't have to play her anymore.
Yeah.
And
that's a compliment. I mean, I'm giving her a compliment.
Yes. You have to give credit to where her game is, what she's done. There's just not really any defense you can do to slow her down. Her bad night's scoring 25 points, but the crying to the referees, the poutiness, the throwing the fits, I could do without that. I've made that perfectly. I've documented that very clearly on here the last few years, but it's unbelievable what she's done and how she's ignited. And when I talk to the current Nebraska players, a lot of times I'll just ask something doesn't even relate directly to Caitlin Clark, and a lot of them bring her up about appreciating what she's done for the game and how she's elevated it and the eyeballs that are on the sport. And so there's a deep respect there and an appreciation from, I think, a lot of almost probably every basketball player for women's basketball for what she's done for the game throughout her career. There's no doubt about it.
You think about all the great Connecticut players, Tennessee players down through the years, and they were amazing and some of them still playing in the WNBA. She has taken it to another level. She has just captivated everybody for the last couple of years. And good for her, good for Iowa. It's been good for the Big Ten. And Iowa basketball has always been pretty good, but they weren't drawing near the kind of crowds they were until she arrived on campus. So good for her.
Yeah, we'll see how they carry on without her.
That's right. I mean, you talk about filling a big void. It's a big void they got to fill out.
A couple weeks ago, there was this big argument. Who was it? It was one of the analysts on ESPN wasn't ready to give her, who was it? It wasn't ready to say that she's GOAT status because she hasn't won a championship.
Was it Jay Williams?
Yes.
I think it was.
And it causes huge uproar. And he had to come back and follow back up about it and clear it up. He basically said she's the greatest scorer of all time, but for his argument, it was more so the winning a championship. That's what makes you the GOAT. But to me, that's another thing that I appreciate about Caitlin Clark. She stayed home and played for a program that wasn't winning national titles. She could have gone to UConn.
She could have.
She could have gone to any
Stanford.
any program and gone and won 3 titles.
Right.
She very easily could have done that, but she didn't. And then she didn't transfer. You know, in the day and age of a transfer portal, she didn't transfer. She stuck it out. And you could argue that the team was not going to be. You had to know that the team was not going to be as good losing the Cesano.
Right.
And so, you know, for her to stay there her entire career and go to a team that wasn't guaranteed a national title, it kind of, to me, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about that argument, because there's no doubt she's the greatest women's basketball player. She's in that conversation.
She sure is.
So I don't love that. Oh, well, you got to have a championship to solidify that. I don't buy into that.
I agree with you on that. I think it takes a lot more than that to win a national title. You need more than one player, but one player can certainly stand above the rest with their individual. Even though it's a team sport, you can certainly appreciate an individual talent like her and put her in that category easily. Easily.
It's almost, she's kind of a Steph Curry-ish, right? But
no question.
I don't, you know.
And he didn't win a college title.
No.
He did when he got all those guys around him out in Golden State, but
yeah, and it goes back when I was in Oklahoma City and the whole Kevin Durant thing. He's worried about his legacy and winning a title and didn't think he's going to do it at Oklahoma City. And so it's just, to me, that I don't like that argument about, oh, you have to win a title to be considered one of the greats, because I think there's something to be said about the loyalty of sticking with a team even though you aren't guaranteed. I know everybody wants to win a title, but when it's not easy, I mean, that's why I love Reggie Miller, you know? But
right.
I hate that it changes sometimes. People, oh, I got to go win a title to solidify my legacy, or oh, I got to win it. I just don't like that argument.
I'm with you. How cool was that? Kevin McHale was at the game the other night.
Yes.
He talked to the Huskers after the game. That was so neat.
It was, and it was cool hearing Coach Hoiberg talk about it at his post-game presser, just the unique relationship that they have, special relationship. But that is funny. Last night, Ernie said that, yeah, I grew up, I didn't like him.
Hated him. He was a Pistons guy, yeah.
So I said, did you tell him that? And
No.
he said, no, absolutely not.
Probably leave that off. I did watch that documentary about the Bad Boys, which were the Pistons of the late 80s, Isaiah Thomas's team, and that's would have been the group that
The
Ernie
30 for 30?
Uh-huh. It's good.
It's great. It's one
really
of my
good.
favorite.
It's really good.
Favorite 30 for 30s.
A lot of people don't like Isaiah Thomas. They didn't like his attitude, and even though he had that twinkle in his eye and that smile, and I think fans liked him, but I think a lot of players did not like Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
But those Bad Boys were good. That was a good team to watch. And, yeah, they and the Celtics, butted heads for that whole – and McHale was on those Celtic teams that butted all those heads. So
I mean, nobody liked Dennis Rodman until he went to the Bulls.
that's right.
Because he was one of those bad boys. He was on the Pistons.
He was pretty normal when he was with the Pistons. Then he got kind of, all the tattoos and the
He went to a
ear
small
piercings.
school in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Durant.
NAI school, I think.
My uncle actually played baseball there at the time. He was playing basketball
Really?
there. And he said he was just the most normal,
Yeah.
down-to-earth guy.
Hollywood
you
changed
never
him.
would have thought he would have ended up how he did.
Purdue's going to win at Illinois. They're up 77-71 with 18 seconds left. That's a big win. That puts a cap on their Big Ten championship run in the regular season. So the congrats to the Boilers. Those are two pretty good basketball teams playing in Champaign tonight. That's going to do it for us. And Mark Manning will join us tomorrow night on the program. Looking forward to hearing from the coach before they head off to Big Tens at Maryland later on in the week. Thanks to David for being the steerman of the ship tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night with another full 2 hours. Enjoy yourself, folks. Have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
T&L Irrigation Company knows their way around a field and across it, into the corners, and even through storms. T&L engineers are constantly working on solutions producers need, like the new gooseneck cradle corner system attachment. It greatly improves corner span stability to tackle steep terrain and stand up to high winds. If you're looking to upgrade your corner system or add on new, call your T&L Irrigation dealer today or visit TLIRR.com to learn more. T&L, like no other.
Hi, this is Husker National Champion and Super Bowl champ Tony Veland. Throughout my football career, chiropractic care helped my athletic performance on the field and kept me in the game. Today, regular chiropractic care keeps me healthy and active to do the things I love. Chiropractic is safe and effective for all ages. Make chiropractic your first choice to reduce pain, improve your mobility, and feel better naturally. It works for me, and it can work for you too. Learn more at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Stay active with chiropractic.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska exists to be there with you. From the first bell to final exams, they are rooting for the schools and teachers who make our communities great. Throughout the year, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska and Nebraska Athletics will be honoring outstanding educators who help Nebraska's students reach their potential. If there's a teacher you want to recognize for the impact they've made in your community, find a nomination form at huskers.com/teachers.
Start your next journey with Woodhouse. Our commitment extends beyond just selling cars. We offer an unparalleled car buying experience that allows you to shop and buy all online. Explore an array of new brands, makes, and models, as well as our large selection of pre-owned vehicles. And it's easy to get started today with our streamlined purchasing process online, granting you the freedom to secure your next vehicle anytime, anywhere. Discover a better way to buy with Woodhouse.